Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to look at another old film. So this is the Blu-ray of The Pagemaster, starring Macaulay Culkin, Christopher Lloyd, Whoopi Goldberg, Patrick Stewart, and get the other one here of the voices here, Frank Welker. So those are the main characters here. So Macaulay Culkin's character's name is Richard. He's afraid of everything. So afraid of heights, afraid of everything. And essentially the point of the story is he gets chased one day, it's stormy, he runs into a library. He interacts with the librarian, who's slightly creepy version of Christopher Lloyd, as he tends to be, slightly creepy and slightly insane. Christopher Lloyd here. And he's given a library card, and then he's sucked into an alternate universe where he interacts with Christopher Lloyd as the Pagemaster, a big wizard. And essentially, you have to find the exit. That's in order to get out, he has to find the exit. So he's now in cartoon. So this starts off in live action, and it moves into animation. And so you interact with the 3 books that are there to help him. You have Patrick Stewart, who plays Adventure. So he's the adventure book, kind of piratey. Whoopi Goldberg, who, surprisingly enough, is fantasy, is very, very pink with a wand and wings. And then Frank Welker is the other person who I don't recognize, is horror. So he has to go through with these 3 books. Various different. He starts off in the world of horror, and you're dealing with, I think, Christopher Nimoy, or randomly Leonard Nimoy, sorry, the late Leonard Nimoy plays Dr. Jekyll. He interacts with various different horror icons. Instantly, Dr. Jekyll, who's a monster, and various goats and various things to get out, and then they get into Adventure, where they interact with Moby Dick and pirates and various things. I think there's even a horror gets captured, and you deal with the Lilliputians from Gulliver's Travels. You deal with various different adventure themes. Then they get to fantasy, and you deal with fairies, and there's a musical number, and you end up with a dragon. And they're climbing a mountain, and they're trying, and basically Macaulay Culkin's character has to face his fears, and he rescues his friends from inside a dragon. Yes, he ends up inside a dragon, opening a book of Jack the Beanstalk, and the beanstalk grows up, and they get out of the dragon. Because again, it's fantasy, and it's fiction, and it's the entire point of he has a chance to escape. Instead, he goes back to save his friends. And they get to the exit, and they interact with the Pagemaster, who his friends are like bowing to. And essentially, he tells him off. It's like, I had to go through this, and this, and this. And he's like, yeah, and you're standing here before me. If I had just sent you to the exit, you wouldn't have overcome all these things. You got away from Dr. Jekyll. You dealt with the ghosts. You dealt with pirates and Moby Dick and dragons and all sorts of things. And you survived. You've overcome your fears. And it's like, oh, yeah, I kind of did that. So he sends him home. He wakes up inside his body with these 3 books around him. Of course, Christopher Lloyd's character back in the dusty old librarian mode. Like you took a spill. He gets up, he sees the exit, he's going to run to it, then he comes back, and he said, I forgot something. And he picks up all 3 books, and Christopher Lloyd's character says, you can only take 2. He's like, but I promised him, in this case it was horror, that he was going to not be able to take with him. And he's like, just this once? And Christopher Lloyd's character is like, I have a tendency to know what people need. Just this once. And he takes the books, and he heads home, and it's dark. And previously, he had been teased by some of the neighborhood bullies about not being able to jump this ramp, which I think is part of construction. Again, boys do stupid things. In case of as an adult mother and a female, boys do stupid things like jumping deranged ramps on their bikes. Boys do dumb things. But it's a facing the fear thing. So he's able to jump this. He's like, that was good. That was very good. And he gets home, and his thing between him and his dad was his dad had built him a tree house, and he's terrified of it. He will not go up because he's afraid of heights. And again, he just, in fantasy land, he just climbed up a giant mountain. His parents, basically, it goes to his parents having looked all around for him, and they come home and they see his bike, and they get out and they see the lantern in the treehouse, and they're like, look. His mother's like, look. His father's like, that's not possible. And they go up there and he's asleep, surrounded by these books, and they decide to leave him up there, and then somehow go in the house and shut off the lights. You've been checking for your child enough that you're worried about the police, and you don't wake him up. Yeah, it's a little weird. The toddler, and it's actually later than normally the night film. I just finished watching this after years. So that's the end of the film. It is very, very good. It's definitely, I'm not sure what this is rated. It's a 1994 film. It can't be rated that deeply. No, it's a G. It came out in 1994. It's a G. It's a little over an hour long. Definitely a family film. It's library-based, which is the reason I'm doing it right now for this month. There's not a lot of library-based films, so I'm limited to this. I actually end up having to buy it, but again, it's enjoyable. It's a good family film. If your kids are really sensitive, don't go near it, because again, there's some creepy stuff here going on. Again, it's all animation, but still, it can get a little scary. Not too bad, but definitely it'll bring a young kid's heart up. So middle elementary. So like, I think I would at the time, maybe my 6-year-old nephew would probably be able to handle this, but he's a bit adventurous. You know your kids, but that was probably the youngest I would do, is about 6. I don't think a 5-year-old would get much out of it. They might, but you know your kids. It's a fun family film. I think even teenagers might get an interest out of this if you wanted to watch it, because you can see some of the literary references. So if you're doing some sort of unit on various different literature, you can use this as a way. It's like, okay, spot the books you see in here. What are they referencing? It would be a fun film to do that with, because again, it's family, it's easy, it's a really good film. Despite the fact that Macaulay Culkin had a really crappy childhood, he's a good actor. He's a good actor. Bottom line, I haven't seen any of his adult stuff. He also seems to be a decent human being, from what I've seen. So it's a good film. And, you know, Christopher Lloyd's hilarious and slightly creepy. He's always just slightly creepy in a lot of these things. He's funny, but he's slightly creepy. And again, it's a good message of overcoming your fear and having friends around you. So that's really it for this video. Again, it's only about an hour and 20 minutes long, so it's not that huge. It's a great family film, again, from the 90s. I'm partial to stuff from the 90s because that's my childhood. And I did enjoy it. I enjoyed skimming through it as an adult. I enjoyed kind of watching it as a kid. I was a little more of a sensitive kid, so I admit that this probably would have scared me. This probably scared me just a tad bit. Probably into age like 10 or 11. But I was a sensitive kid. I can watch it now as an adult. I have no idea about my child. As of the filming of this, she's 2.5. By the time you guys see this, she'll be a little over 3. Still too young for this. But it will be obviously something I will show her. So if you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. I do films like this. Family stuff. I do older stuff. I don't really do any younger stuff. I'm not sure there's much younger stuff, at least film-wise. I do younger stuff book-wise. I do board books. I do lots of children's picture books. I do teen stuff. I do some travel stuff. By the time you guys see this, there should be at least couple more videos up travel-wise, hopefully. We have another trip to visit family in Idaho already planned. So hopefully there'll be at least 4 videos Idaho related and traveling related with kids. By the time you guys see this, our first set of me learning traveling with a toddler and the mistakes I made. Lots of mistakes. Thoroughly admit that. And the next videos, which obviously I'm filming this in March of 2022. So that's when this is being filmed. We do not plan to go on vacation until the end of August. So, in fact, you may not see that. Those will be up soon. I'm trying to think of when on earth this is supposed to be coming out. This will be coming up right around the time we'll be in Idaho, possibly, which is around the end of August. I film these things in advance because I have them. So those videos will be up at some point, sometime probably in September, because it's the end of August and it takes me a while to get these things done. So be sure to check out those. I'll do some more curriculum stuff as my daughter gets older. We're homeschoolers, so we're secular homeschoolers. So when we do that stuff, it will come along with a variety of other stuff. So be sure to check out the channel. I have a lot of stuff already posted. There's a whole heck of a lot more planned. This is literally one of the last videos I'm doing for 2022. So most of that stuff is done, and I'm already working on stuff for 2023. So there's a lot more to come. I already have a lot available. So be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.